In the heart of a vast desert, far away from busy cities and noisy markets, there stood a small, quiet village. The houses were made of clay, the roads were narrow, and life there was simple and slow. The people woke up with the sunrise and slept beneath the stars. Among them lived a man named Yusuf. Yusuf was not rich. He did not own land, animals, or gold. But he was known throughout the village for something far more valuable: his honesty, his patience, and his strong trust in Allah. Beside Yusuf's small home grew a single date palm tree. It was not the tallest tree in the village, and it was not the strongest. But to Yusuf, it was a gift from Allah. Every morning, Yusuf would place his hand on the rough bark of the tree and whisper softly, "Allah is Ar-Razzaq, the provider." Yusuf lived a humble life. He worked small jobs for his neighbors, fixing broken walls, carrying water, helping the elderly. Sometimes the dates from his tree were enough to eat. Sometimes he had very little. Yet Yusuf never complained. When people asked him how he remained content with so little, he smiled and said, "When you trust Allah, your heart is never poor." One year the sky changed. Days passed, then weeks, without a single drop of rain. The sun burned hotter than ever before. The wind became dry and heavy. The ground cracked open and the wells began to dry. Crops failed. Animals grew weak. Fear slowly entered the hearts of the people. Yusuf watched as his date palm tree began to struggle. Its leaves lost their color. Its fruits fell before they could ripen. The villagers gathered and whispered among themselves. Some approached Yusuf and said, "Yusuf, your tree will not survive this drought. Cut it down and sell the wood before it dies." Others laughed and said, "Faith does not bring rain." Yusuf listened quietly. Then he replied calmly, "If Allah wills it to live, it will live. And if not, He will replace it with something better." The drought grew worse. Water became scarce. Yusuf himself felt weak and thirsty. Still, every morning, he poured a small amount of water at the roots of the tree, even when he had very little left for himself. At night, hunger visited him. Loneliness visited him. But despair never did. Under the quiet desert sky, Yusuf raised his hands in dua and said, "Allahumma inni tawakkaltu alayka." O Allah, I place my trust in you. One night, Yusuf sat alone outside his home. For the first time, tears fell from his eyes. He whispered softly, "O Allah, I know you are able, but my heart is tired." Then he remembered the words of the Quran, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." Yusuf wiped his tears. His heart became calm again. Before dawn, something changed. A gentle breeze passed through the village. Clouds gathered quietly in the sky. When Yusuf stepped outside in the early morning light, he stopped in his tracks. Before him stood the date palm tree, tall, green, and strong. Its branches were heavy with fresh, ripe dates, more than it had ever produced before. It was a miracle. The villagers rushed toward Yusuf's home. They stared in disbelief. "How is this possible?" they asked. Yusuf smiled gently and said, "This is not my strength. This is Allah's mercy." Yusuf did not store the dates for himself. He shared them with the hungry, with the children, with the poor, even with those who mocked him. That day, no one in the village slept hungry. And so, the village learned a lesson greater than rain. Tawakkul is not giving up. Tawakkul is not sitting idle. Tawakkul is doing your best and trusting Allah with the result. Remember this always. What is impossible for people is always easy for Allah.